My bad, Brad. OBS was being mad sus.
All good, Dan, but the NFL just released the 2023 schedule. Pick up the sticks and let's show these scrubs what's what.
Bald werden wir die Letzten sein, die stehen.
What the hell does that mean? You know we aren't playing in Germany, right?
Ich weiß, aber ich hatte wirklich gehofft, dass wir es wären.
When did you learn German anyway?
I didn't. We're AI-generated voices, Brad. Some social media intern is typing everything that comes out of our mouths.
Wait, you mean they can literally make me say whatever they want? D's nuts. You thinking what I'm thinking?
Run it. Wait. I said don't run it. My damn Bluetooth is acting up again.
Too late. Fox grazed Sputnik with that one.
We take those. Go Sea Lions.
And just like that...
Hell yeah, man. Throw one more on the board.
I'm sorry to say it, but you're looking Paleolithic here, Danspacito.
I'm choosing to ignore that comment and continue our friendship.
How about we continue this beatdown while we're at it?
I'll allow it.
Hey guys,
What's good, JG?
What's going on, man?
come on, Curb. You're gonna make another QB leave the division.
You mean leave the conference?
You mean retreat from the conference?
That's dark.
Touche, Jared. Touche.
What that bear doing?
The Bear?
Panther.
That's Bryce Young, bro.
How you say that?
Bryce Young.
You call him that?
That's his name. Chad is telling me to check the sliders.
Someone say sliders? I could go for a couple of them right now.
Hold on, let me put this together real quick.
Oh no. Brad is him.
Ben John's him.
Him the Toolman Taylor.
Him and in the money, come and find me. Nemo.
All right, Brad. Time to take the field goal record back. 69 yards.
Nice.
Outdoors, 17-mile-an-hour tailwind.
Money Badger should have the leg, no problem.
Come on. Come on.
Doinked it off the crossbar, Cam. That's good.
We hooping now. I called it.
Rory. Hello, Rory? Rory. I think his headset is still broken.
Come on, Rory. Not again. Get a new headset before you join the Discord next time, man.
Mute Spitta, one headset. Now that's the...
Wrong number.
Hey, hold it down for a minute, Danimals Yogurt. Mom just came in and said the pizza rolls are done. BRB.
That's outstanding. You earned it, man. I need to walk my pet goldfish anyway. Damn it. My controller died. Looks like I'm gonna need a...
Dan, don't say it. Please don't say it. I'm begging you.
charger.
Yo, coach, let me get a rep at cornerback real quick.
Let's do it, man.
Oh, you put me on this guy? Too easy.
No cap. Run this route for him.
Clamps.
Congratulations, you just got Amon-Ra St. Clown.
Honestly diabolical. Sit down, big little brother. Respectfully.
Remember when we ran the hook and ladder against the Pack on Sunday Night Football?
Indubitably.
When we run it to the left, it's called eels and escalators.
BJ better be jotting this down.
FTP.
Wow.
Oh, man. We appreciate you, 20.
Barry is a whole W. Don't forget to follow the gifters, chat.
Yeah, everyone go follow the gifters and the mods. That's 5 on the day for number 5.
Monty's a bowling ball.
More like a bulldog.
A French bulldog.
Where did he come from anyway?
Watch this one. User, take that, plebes.
Take it to the house, man.
Speaking of houses, did you hear how many bathrooms Russ has inside his?
That's not what he wanted to cook.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody in the car, so come on.
Let's ride.
I am legend, and I will Smith.
Now that's how you let the D build, Brad.
You like that?
You like that?
You like that?
You like that?
You like
You
that?
like that? That was a heads-up play. What do you think Jack Campbell's grit rating is?
Grit rating, is that even a thing?
I know a way to find out. Wow, grit stats are nowhere in sight. Get it together, Madden.
Oh my gosh, we witty wooey need to know how gwitty we are.
You know how we supposedly share 98.8% of our DNA with chimpanzees?
I guess.
This man and I share less than 50%.
Whatever you say, Danny Given Sunday. Let's just ice this game.
Right, let me get zesty with this one.
In motion is Sewell. Goff to throw. Wants to throw it to Sewell. He caught it! Oh, yes. The big man! That is beautiful!
That's some sussy baka activity.
Yeah, but his Riz is busting like Jerome Bettis.
How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here in our video. So, of course, it's that time of the year again. The Lions 2023 schedule has officially come out. The schedule is officially here. So, for this video, we're going to take a look at the Lions schedule game for game. And I'm going to give you my schedule predictions to think for you all to think how I think the Lions will fare this year. Keep in mind, last year I had the Lions going 11-5. And they only finished 2 games off what I predicted at 9-8. So I wasn't far off with it last year. So yeah, but of course, as we all know, for this schedule predictions, these predictions don't really mean jack fucking shit until we see the actual product on the field. But anyway, though, we're just gonna have some fun with these predictions. But yeah, anyway, let's go through the schedule. Let's see how I think the Lions fare this year. So let's get started. So, of course, starting off the season, the Lions' hardest game of the season opens the year. As week 1, they are in Kansas City on Thursday Night Football against the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champions, Kansas City Chiefs. As the Chiefs will once again be unveiling their second Mickey Mouse Super Bowl banner that was ref-aided in the Super Bowl. But yeah, the Chiefs hosted another banner celebration in a hostile environment. Lions' hardest game of the season right off the bat. A lot of things to add up. Like it's a big moment for the Lions franchise to be opening the season against the reigning champs. In the end, I feel like this game, all I say for this game is don't get fooled by that point spread. I think this game's going to be a lot closer than people will think. Plus, the last time Mahomes and Goff faced off against each other, it was back when Goff was still at the Rams, and it was that high-scoring Monday night game when the Rams beat the Chiefs 54-51. Now, this game, I don't see it being a high-scoring game like that, but I could realistically see both teams score 30 points each. At least 30 points each. But yeah, this one, going to be a tough game, but I'm going to say the Lions will lose this game in Kansas City. I think it's going to be a dirty finish. I feel like the Lions are going to get screwed by a ref ball call. Probably a roughing the passer on Aiden Hutchinson, BS roughing the passer on Aiden Hutchinson because Hutchinson sacks Mahomes without reading him a bedtime story or throwing a pill underneath him. But yeah, I feel like it won't be a clean finish, but I feel like the Lions are going to lose to Kansas City because I feel like there's no way the NFL is going to let the Lions beat their golden boy to open the season. So I have the Lions losing to Kansas City. I have them starting the season 0-1. Week 2, the Lions home opener against Seattle. I think the Lions will finally beat the Seahawks. I think the Lions win against Seattle. I have Detroit winning that game. I think the Lions finally beat the Hawks. They go 1-1. I mean, the Lions beating the Hawks, it's bound to happen at some point. So I have Detroit beating Seattle, go 1-1. Week 3 at home to Atlanta. This will be the Jeff Okudah revenge game. It will be Okudah's first game back in Detroit since the trade. I got the Lions beating the Falcons. The NFC South is so fucking garbage this year. Like, honestly, whoever wins that division wins it by default because everyone in that division sucks ass. But yeah, I got the Lions beating the Falcons, so I got Detroit going to 2-1. Week 4 in Green Bay on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. In Green Bay, of course, this will be the Lions' first game against the Packers without Aaron Rodgers in the fold. Plus, keep in mind, the last time the Lions played the Packers in a season that didn't have Rodgers, it was 2017, and the Lions won both games convincingly in blowout fashion. But yeah, week 4 in Green Bay, I got Detroit beating the Packers. I think the Packers are, I'm going to make a bold prediction here, but may or may not be bold, but I have the Packers finishing last in the NFC North. Like, the Packers are not going to get lucky a third time with Jordan Love. They're not going to get lucky. And why should Love become a Hall of Famer like Rodgers and Favre? Why? So the Packers can waste them like they wasted Rodgers and Favre's career? Nah, Packers have had every fucking chance to be a dynasty. They should have had a dynasty with Favre. Blew that. Should have had a dynasty with Rodgers. Blew that. Packers have had every fucking chance with Rodgers and Favre. They've blown and choked away every last one of them. As far as I'm concerned, Green Bay deserves to be shit for a while. But I have the Lions beating the Packers in Lambeau. I have the Lions going to 3-1 now. But I will say this: if Jordan Love by some snowballs the chance in hell has a Hall of Fame career like Rodgers and Favre, God help us all. Week 5 at home against Carolina. I have the Lions beating the Panthers and getting payback for last year. Like, Lions should have won that game against Carolina last year, but they shit the bed royally. Mainly because they were on an unsafe field that was deemed unsafe. Even the NFL knew it was unsafe field conditions in that game against the Panthers on Christmas Eve last year. But the NFL decided to let the game go on anyway because it's Detroit versus everybody. This time, Carolina won't have that luxury at Ford Field. This time, the Lions beat the Panthers. I have Detroit beating Carolina, so I got the Lions going to 4-1. Week 6 in Tampa Bay against the Bucks. I got the Lions beating the Bucks. Tampa Bay is going to be pretty bad this year. The one thing I will say, though, is I wish this game was kind of in November, late November, early December. Because if it was in late November, early December, I was actually going to fly down for this game and go to a road game. I was going to go to this game, but since it's early in the season, that's not going to happen, sadly. What could have been. But yeah, anyway, I got the Lions beating the Buccaneers. So I got Detroit going to 5-1 after 6 weeks. Week 7 in Baltimore, I have the Lions winning streak coming to a halt. I have the Lions losing to the Ravens. I mean, some people say it's a win, but I think the Lions lose because the Lions' history in Baltimore has not been good. The Lions have always struggled against the Ravens in Baltimore. They've usually struggled against the Ravens in general. Just Baltimore has had Detroit's number for a while. I don't see that changing anytime soon. It's going to be a tough game. But I feel like it's going to come down to a field goal, and Justin Tucker has made Detroit his bitch when it comes to game-winning field goals, especially that 66-yarder last year, a couple years ago. But yeah, I have Detroit losing to Baltimore, so I got the Lions falling to 5-2 after Week 7. Week 8 against the Las Vegas Raiders at home on Monday Night Football. See, I believe this is the first primetime game the Lions have had at Ford Field since 2018, when they had that Sunday night game against the Patriots. In terms of Monday Night Football, this is the first Monday night game in Detroit since, I believe, 2014 when the Lions played the Giants. But yeah, I imagine this place the Ford Field's gonna be fucking loud as hell for that game. I might consider going down for that game. I might take the day off work or some shit and go to that game. But yeah, I have the Lions beating the Raiders. I got the Lions beating the Raiders on Monday Night Football at home. So I have Detroit going 6-2 as Week 9 entering the bye week. So yeah, for Week 9, the bye week in Week 9, that's pretty crazy that the Lions got a mid-season bye week. Because usually the Lions' bye week is usually no later than Week 6. We usually get screwed with an early bye week. This one, we get a bye week pretty much at midway through the season, which is okay, I guess. I mean, that's solid. But yeah, that just shows you how much Detroit has turned things around. Now, Week 10 in Los Angeles against the Chargers. A lot of people are picking the Lions to lose this game. I think differently. I think the Lions can win this game against the Chargers. This is a winnable game. Like, the Chargers are not going to be the same team they were last year. The Chargers, I think, are going to collapse hard and fall apart. Especially after that playoff game the Chargers had lost last year. Hell, to be honest, I don't even have the Chargers making the playoffs this year. Because after the Chargers blew that 27-point lead in the playoffs to the Chiefs, like, honestly, that choke job the Chargers had in the playoffs gives me a lot of vibes when the Houston Texans blew that 24-point lead in one quarter to the Chiefs. And it also gives me vibes to 28-3. Because that type of choke job the Chargers have, that's the type of choke job you don't come back from. Don't believe me? Ask the Atlanta Falcons how they're doing after they blew after 28-3. Don't believe me? Ask the Houston Texans how they're doing after they blew a 24-point lead to the Chiefs. Because the Falcons have been an absolute dumpster fire since 28-3, and the Texans have been a living, breathing shit show since they blew that 24-point lead to the Chiefs. And I think that's going to happen with the Chargers. To be honest, I could see Brandon Staley getting fired by midseason. I could see him being fired at the end of the season. But yeah, plus for the Chargers game, it's going to be pretty much going to be effectively a de facto home game for the Lions. Because SoFi's going to get overrun by Lions fans. Because there are a number of Lions fans that live out in the West Coast that I know are going to go to this game. So yeah, this is effectively a de facto home game for the Lions. But yeah, I got Detroit winning against the Chargers in LA. And I have the Lions going to 7-2. Week 11 at home to Chicago. I have the Lions winning that game against Chicago because it's the fucking Bears. And the Bears fan base has been so fucking arrogant in this offseason. And they ass needs to be humbled. Yeah, I think being the Bears at home is going to be a good humbling for them to just sit down and shut the fuck up. Week 12 at home to Green Bay on Thanksgiving. I have the Lions sweeping the Packers for the second year in a row. I have Detroit winning that game against Green Bay. Just keep this in mind here. The last time the Lions played the Packers on Thanksgiving, Packers didn't have Aaron Rodgers, and the Lions beat the living shit out of Packers in that game 40-10. I think Detroit will finally win their first Thanksgiving game since 2016, and I have them beating the Packers on Thanksgiving. So I got Detroit winning on Thanksgiving against Green Bay, and Detroit goes to 9-2. Week 13, in New Orleans against the Saints. This is going to be a weird revenge game because it's Dan Campbell's first game against the old team he was a part of the coaching staff from and where he came from. Since Campbell, before he came to Detroit, Campbell was the assistant coach and tight ends coach on the Saints with Sean Payton. So this is going to be a weird game, but I feel like the Lions will win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close game, but I have the Lions winning in New Orleans and beating the Saints. The Saints just aren't the same team they used to be. The Saints have pretty much gone downhill ever since Drew Brees retired. But I do feel like the Saints will be contending for the NFC South with the Panthers. But I would give probably Carolina the edge. But I got the Lions beating the Saints, so I got Detroit going to 10-2. Week 14 in Chicago against the Bears. I have the Lions sweeping the Bears for the second year in a row. I think the Lions are going to go back to dominating the Bears like they used to before Matt Nagy came up. Because the only time the Bears have had the Lions number recently was with Matt Nagy. That hasn't been the case without Nagy. Without Nagy, the Lions will own their ass. Because Matt Nagy won't be there to wipe Chicago's ass for them. But I have the Lions beating the Bears, so I got Detroit going 11-2. And on this streak, I actually have the Lions currently... 1, 2, 3. On a 6-game winning streak. God damn. Week 15 at home to Denver. This is a game that's been listed as TBD. So there's a chance this could be a Saturday game. At home against the Broncos. It's another revenge game because it's Dan Campbell's first game against his old mentor, Sean Payton. So this game's gonna mean a lot to Campbell and the crew. I do think Denver's gonna be an improved team with Sean Payton. Because they don't have the hack Nathaniel Hackett around. And I think Russell Wilson's going to bounce back after having a horrible season last year. But I have the Lions beating the Broncos in Week 15. I think Detroit finally beats Denver. Denver's had Detroit's number for quite a bit. But I think the Lions will finally beat the Broncos. So I got Detroit beating Denver in Week 15. So I have now Detroit on a 7-game winning streak. And I have Detroit at 12-2 entering the final 3 weeks. Week 16 in Minnesota. I think the Lions lose that game in Minnesota against the Vikings. The Lions have just struggled in US Bank Stadium. Last year the Lions should have swept the Vikings, but they fell apart in US Bank because they got too conservative instead of being aggressive, and it cost them. But yeah, in Minnesota, I got Detroit losing that game. I feel like Minnesota's going to get lucky and back into the win like they did last year. So I got Detroit beating Minnesota. I got Detroit losing to Minnesota, and their 7-game winning streak snaps. So I got Detroit falling to 12-3, entering the final 2 weeks of the season. Week 17, a Saturday night game against the Dallas Cowboys. A game I believe that was originally supposed to be on Monday Night Football. But because New Year's Day falls on a Monday in 2024, they moved all the Monday night stuff to Saturday night. So Detroit will play the Cowboys on Saturday Night Football on ESPN. So yeah, special Monday night broadcast on Saturday night. Make it make sense. But yeah, again, in Dallas, I got that as a loss against the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys, it's a coin flip, but Detroit has just struggled against the Cowboys, especially in Jerry's world. Like, the Lions just struggle in Dallas. They just can't seem to figure it out in Jerry's world. Like, the last time the Lions won in Dallas was 2011, and that was the game the Lions overcame a 24-point deficit against the Cowboys and came back and won. Like, the Lions also haven't beaten the Cowboys since 2013. And now that game was in Detroit. But yeah, at home in Dallas on Saturday night, I think the Lions lose a close one to the Cowboys in heartbreaking fashion. So I had Detroit losing to Dallas, and I have Detroit falling the tail 12-4. Just the Cowboys have had Detroit's number in recent years. And then Week 18, ending the season at home against Minnesota. And this is a game that has also been listed as TBD. So it could be a Sunday night game. It could be a Saturday night game. Could be a 4 o'clock game. I think it's going to be a 4 o'clock Sunday game because it's a game that could have playoff implications for the Lions and or the Vikings. Maybe even enough seed implications in the NFC. But for this game against Minnesota, I have the Lions beating the Vikings in Week 18 to end the season. Potentially, because this game, Detroit potentially could be battling for like the number 1 or number 2 seed or number 3 seed. But I have Detroit winning this game against Minnesota. And I have Detroit ending the season at 13-4. Now, for 13-4 for the Lions, I think that should be more than enough to win a division this year. I don't know if 13-4 will be enough to get number 1 seed in the NFC. It's going to be tough. I think you're going to have to do better than 13-4. But it could be enough for the 2 seed, maybe. I don't know. Like, to be honest, I think the Lions are going to be contending for the top seed in the NFC. Like, I think the top 3 teams in the NFC this year are going to be in no particular order: Philadelphia, Detroit, and San Francisco. Like, I think it's going to be a 3-horse race between those 3 teams. Okay, I'm back now. Sorry about that. I had a phone call I had to take there real quick, so sorry about that little brief interruption there, but I'm back now. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, I think Detroit's going to be in a 3-horse race for the number 1 seed with Philadelphia and San Francisco. It's going to be very tough to contend with those 2 teams, but yeah, it's unfortunate the Lions don't play either of those 2 teams this year so we can see where they truly match up in the NFC. But yeah, I feel like the Lions' schedule, it's pretty favorable, and I think the ceiling is about 13-4, 12-5. Definitely think they're good. Definitely think good enough to win the NFC North. But whether number 1 seed or number 2 seed, gonna be tough to say. It really depends on how Philadelphia and San Francisco do. It's gonna be very tough. But anyway, though, can't wait for the season, though. But in terms of like Week 1 against Kansas City, I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions pulled that one out. I wouldn't be surprised if they won that game against the Chiefs. But it's gonna be tough, though. But yeah, really pumped about this season. Lions have at least 5 games in nationally televised, 4 in primetime, 5 in primetime if you count Thanksgiving. But yeah, some really good games. Could go to 6 or 7 depending on what happens with the season. Denver could become a primetime game. Minnesota could be a primetime game. Could be interesting, though. And who knows? Maybe the Lions could get flexed to Sunday Night Football later in the season. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, anyway, though, I think that wraps it up here. That wraps up my schedule prediction. But yeah, anyway, that's all I got to say. Hope everyone's a great day. And yeah, I'll see you on over at Make Next. I'm out.